Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Streamer Talk with Jackward. I am the Jack. That is the Ward down there in the corner. And welcome back.
You're a Ward.
Welcome back and welcome in for episode number 2. If you're here listening, that means you liked us enough in episode 1 to come on back and listen to another episode. I don't know how you stood. I don't know how you stood 90 minutes of us, but here we are. How are you, Jackward?
I'm doing all right. It's been a little fun, but you know, you can always go check out the live stream to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. How about you, Jackie?
I'm good. Living life. I gotta go back to work tomorrow. Long weekend. And
that sounds fun.
And my HDMI splitter decided it wanted to yeah. So
Eat itself.
So I now have I'm now a back to 2 PCs currently.
Ew.
So I can use all 3 of my monitors properly.
Well, gotta do what you gotta do.
Yay. But anyway, what do we talk about today, Jackward?
We are talking about probably the number one question that comes up when streamers get started is, how do I start? Like, what do I need?
So you're telling me that my technology problem perfectly aligns with this episode talking about what technology you need to start streaming.
No way. That's kind of crazy. Yeah. That is kind of the beauty of today's discussion is that, you know, I know at least for me, when I have new streamers who I talk with and whatnot, they always are asking, like, where did you get your mic, or what kind of camera do you have, or how do I make the lighting look so great? And the reality is that we just end up so much with, you start with what you got. And I think that's a huge thing is you can get all the fanciest gear in the world. If you don't have an idea, it doesn't matter. And vice versa. You can have the crappiest equipment in the world. If you have a great idea, no one's going to care. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today on Streamer Talk with Jackward.
Yeah, and buckle yourselves in. Jackward's going to go off on his rant about lighting later on. Just prepare yourself.
I had to turn off Lumia stream because I didn't want a bunch of flashing lights to go with I've got a lot of people following me based on some news. So yeah, and so are you gonna tell everyone that? I don't know if I'm gonna say, because I'm gonna say it on stream, and then it's gonna be, I've said it on stream before. You know, because we do this live, and then. But
you've got a whole 5 people here. You could let them in on your secret if you wanted to.
I mean, I guess I could.
That's what they get for listening to the podcast before you stream.
Okay. Well, you know, if you're listening to this, it's already been announced several times. But I just got word today that Team Stars, it's a stream team, but it's not officially like a stream team. Like, you won't see it on Twitch the same way you see other stream teams. They have allowed me to join their ranks and be on there, and actually my co-host here is also on that same team, so we get to be on the same stream team. Do I say again?
Yeah.
Because technically you were on that on Team Cord at the beginning. So I'm really excited about this. It's led by a wonderful, amazing group of people, and it just really aligns with kind of my mission for everything I do, which is to help people achieve their goals and their dreams, and that's why they shoot for the stars. Mm-hmm. Isn't that great?
And in case anyone's listening that doesn't know what like unofficial stream team means is, so in order to be an official stream team on Twitch, you have to be run by a partnered streamer, and May of the wonderful May's Room is the one who started this stream team. And May, which is a travesty and a crime, is not partnered yet here on Twitch. So, she could not start an official team, but she still wanted to join everyone together because she had an idea. And yeah.
What will happen with Team Court? No, actually, Obzu, nothing will happen. So you can be on multiple teams within Twitch, and Jackie K is the same situation of being on multiple stream teams. It's just kind of the different affiliations, different opportunities, different philosophies and stuff like that. And so this one really aligns with my goal as an educator that's kind of fallen into streaming, of helping new content creators, helping people just kind of achieve their dreams. And so that's why Jackie had let me know that they were looking for new members, and I was like, oh my gosh, it just feels it lands such in line with my own personal goals. May is just the most amazing person I have come across, and when this opportunity came about, I just couldn't pass it up. So I'm still part of Team Cord. I'm still part of. I'm just now on another team.
I think you can have up to there's so many stream teams you can be on. There is a limit, but it's a very high limit.
Yeah, I remember there was some conversation about this when we were creating Team Cord really early on, and it was like, and I think Squishy, who's technically the partnered member of Team Cord, had said it was something like crazy high. It was like 10 or 15 teams.
Yeah, it was definitely something wild. It was not like anything that anyone was gonna nearly
That's not
achieve.
our official. We don't know. We're not saying those are officially the number, but it is something you can be a part of many teams. And then that's not even including unofficial teams. Like you could be a part of other teams that just not necessarily connected with it. And I think that's another thing that I really like about this is both teams that I'm on. It really transcends kind of just Twitch as well. So while Twitch is my primary platform and whatnot, you can find me on all sorts of social media. And I'm always finding new ones because of the lovely Jackie K Plays, who sends you messages and says, hey, join this one. I said, okay.
Well, and I think that's why I love Stars so much too, because you look at some of the people that are on the team with us, and we not only have so many fabulous and wonderful Twitch creators, but you look and there's some people that grew on YouTube as well and then made the transition over to Twitch. And it's so great to be around such a vast group of people and such a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It was a little. I got that email. I think it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. The first person I obviously had to tell was Jackie, and so I sent it there and got in the Discord during rehearsal today with my students, and it's already, I can tell it's just an amazing group of people, and I look forward to getting to know them all and being a part of it. And I'm just really excited. I'm excited I get to do it with my bestie too, my streaming bestie.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right. Now that all the good news has been announced, we're gonna swerve back. That was our one, no, well, I'm not gonna say it was our one tangent of the stream because,
we both know this is going to be like a 5-hour recording, and then we'll both have to go to work the next day.
Woo! Okay, so we're gonna start off with talking about when it comes to technology and things you need when you want to start streaming. One of the most important things is this thing that I'm playing with currently in my hand, that I keep adjusting all the time because I never want it too close to my face, but then I also don't want it too far away from my face. Let's talk about this wonderful thing called a microphone. Yay!
What?
Who? Huh? The number one rule to streaming is you can have the worst camera on the planet. You can be the worst at every single game that you ever try on stream. I don't care. But if you sound like you're talking in a tin can, nobody's going to stay and listen to you. Nobody's going to want to hear you.
Yeah, this is something I teach my film students this all the time, is we can forgive really bad visuals because, there's an equitable side of it, right? you can't necessarily afford the $10,000 camera. That's just not realistic. So using a little digital camera that, you know, mom or dad bought you for $20 is a great way to capture the visual. And people can forgive that. But when it comes to audio, because we are so used to a society where we constantly hear noise. In fact, as a sound designer, I was taught silence is the most dangerous tool to use because we're not used to it. So when we hear nothing, it really causes us to feel uneasy and scared. And so that's the big thing, is because we're inundated with all this sound, a good microphone goes a long way in this.
Yeah, and one of the things that we have learned and that is so important as a new streamer is you cannot yap enough. Like, just, I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care if you're telling me about cousin Jim Bob that lives down the street. But talking all the time is so important, and people being able to hear what you have to say is so important. I mean, and we all know that one friend that has that headset mic that we play Fortnite with, and all you can hear is the crinkling in the background or the echo or whatever. And even when you're not streaming, or even if you're just hanging out casually playing with them, you don't want to play with them because you know it's going to be awful. So that's why this is like top. Has to be up there.
I mean, that's me playing Fortnite with anyone else but you. I hate being on mic, but I'm just not a big fan of talking to other people. But it is so utterly important that you constantly are coming up with something new. My Jackward wife just recently got into streaming some Lego builds, and that was the one piece of advice that I gave her to make sure she understood kind of what was expected. Now, I didn't expect her to be able to yap for 3-4 hours, no problem. And that's exactly what she does now. I'm like, man, you just don't stop talking. This is where our son gets it from. But it's such a huge thing. And that's why a lot of streamers, they want to be in collaboration. They want to talk to other people because it feels so awkward if you do not know what you're to talk about. And I think the best thing, that once someone told me that you just need to keep talking, that was easy for me. That was really easy. I just started telling stories and pretending like I was talking to. I've heard great tips of like, put something in front of you that you're just constantly talking to, like a little stuffed plushie or something. You're just having a conversation with that plushie the entire time. Those are kind of really easy ways to be constantly talking. But if it sounds like that the entire time, then no one's going to want to listen to it, right? So you have to take the time to fine tune that audio. And there's lots of little things to do, even if you have a really bad mic, to make it sound great. But the biggest thing is if you want to invest one thing in it, it is the microphone.
So you're telling me if I pull my mic all the way away from my face that it's not a good idea? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I am telling you that. Eat the mic is what I was told. Eat the mic.
So typical rule of thumb that I've actually found out over the course of my streaming is you should be able to put a fist in front of your face, and that's about how far your mic should be from your face, is like a fist distance. That gives you a good visual. And on top of that, you gotta know your mic though too, because not every mic is the same. So clearly the mic that I'm speaking into, is the HyperX Quadcast mic. And this mic is a mic that I can put on its side. I can flip upside down. I can do whatever. And it's a more of a side mic. I'm not going to talk into the front of the mic like a regular microphone that you hold if you're giving a speech. You talk into the side of it. There are mics that you talk into the front of, but you have to be aware of the mic that you've purchased.
So with a lot of that there's lots of different styles of mic. What we're used to seeing when we see like a performance or something is what's called a dynamic microphone. And that kind of works in all directions. What you see most streamers using is like what's called condenser microphone. And usually that's more directional. So that comes with a specific aspect. If I'll even demonstrate, as I move my mic around, you're going to hear my voice either through your stereo speakers, left or right, because my mic has 2 contact points, and so it has a left side and a right side. Me putting it sideways, that changes what that orientation is. So right now, because I have it sideways, up is technically left and down is right. Like moving it around like this. If I were to have it up and down, it would be how I move my head. And so that can be a blessing and a curse. Like it's not always the best thing. Dynamic microphones are great for people who are just starting out because it really gives you a lot of forgiveness. Whereas I can literally turn my microphone around and you can barely hear me, even though I'm talking right into it. And that's because the back end doesn't have any sort of what's called I just blinked on it, diaphragm. It doesn't have a diaphragm. So that's kind of the challenge with it.
Whereas
sorry, I can nerd about sound and lighting.
Whereas the pretty beautiful mic that is sitting in front of me was literally made for you to use at all angles except talking into the very front of it because there is no speaker on it. I could flip this upside down, left, right. I could literally go any which way with it and you will still be able to hear me just as good.
And so something Jackie and I talked about when we were planning this one is, are we going to be very upfront with what we paid for our mics, our stuff? And we were like, yeah, we're gonna, because that's the whole point of this, right? Is that we're trying to help you guys understand the same pitfalls that, we fell into. We both have, we're both hoarders when it comes to technology. And so we've been through various types of cameras, various types of, materials, and we know what it's like to just kind of be thrown into this and be overwhelmed by it all. Mm-hmm. So just out of curiosity, Jackie, how much did you pay for the microphone you're using today?
Well, fun fact is I want to say this, I believe, was about $130 when I purchased it, and that does not include the boom arm that it's sitting on.
Yeah, and mine's a $250 mic, and that does include the boom arm. But boom arms are like $30. Like
now,
like
this isn't us saying either. Jackward and I are nerds when it comes to this stuff, and we like these things. This is more of a lifestyle comfort thing for us, the mic that we have. But I promise you, when we get done nerding out in a minute, we do have options for y'all. I'm not saying go out and buy the $130 mic when you're first starting streaming. We're not saying that.
No, absolutely. You got. I mean, that's a big thing. What my point was that can you really tell that big of a difference between my microphone and Jackie's microphone, right? Mine's almost double the price, and there are microphones that are even cheaper. I have bought 7 or 8 different microphones in the last since 2019, so last 5-ish years. And they have been various pricing. And so I will tell you is that there's very little difference between all of them. And I could use any one. I could pull any one of them. I bought one for $8, guys. I bought a mic for $8. It works as good as the one I'm using right now.
Mm-hmm. I think the first mic that I had was $30. And once I got a boom arm for it, it actually worked really well. But granted, I outgrew it very quickly, and granted, I had to turn the gain knob all the way up, but it still worked. And listen, it was within the budget that I had at the time.
And that's a big thing. So any mic you can, you have a lot of options with it, and some of that comes into the software that you use, whether it's Streamlabs or OBS. It comes with the microphone itself. I believe yours has little knobs on it that can allow you to adjust things. Mine does not have. Mine has a little adjustment for my monitoring into the mic, so I can turn up and down my headphones, and I can adjust whether I hear the computer or I hear just the pure microphone recording. So there's lots of intention with each of these.
I mean, there's a knob on the back of this that I don't think I've ever touched, and I have no clue what it does.
So that's just something to keep in mind as well, is that like there's going to be different features in every kind of microphone as well. But let's go ahead and let's break it down for them. So Jackie and I did some homework. We said, what would a low end microphone. What is a quality low end microphone? So we're not trying to give you guys, the things that the whole time. We want to give you brands to look for and quality companies to work with. I think to some degree, you or I have have had the product from every single company on our list today.
Or we know someone that we love and trust that uses these on a very regular basis for everything that we'll be recommending.
So we're working with a very small group of things, but we know these things work. So when you spend the money, you're not going out and going through. And if any of these companies want to sponsor us, Jackie K Plays and Jackward Hero both need new equipment. So feel free to, I'm going to shamelessly plug both of us if you'd like to sponsor one of our podcasts.
Please send me an HDMI splitter. Mine broke today. I have a really great PC that is currently only running one of my 3 monitors. I gotta wait till Twitch pays me.
Yeah, at least you're getting paid this month.
But anyway, so let's talk about our list. So the way we kind of broke things down is mics, and this is gonna go for any category. So under $50, $50 to $100, and then $100 and up, because I promise you there's a lot of stuff in that high range. So for microphones, the first one that we want to talk about that comes in at a whopping, we need a drum roll. I don't have a drum roll sound. Dang. I doubt you do. Dang. That comes in.
Did that work?
No, that zoomed in on your face.
I know, I didn't have my soundboard up.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh. Anyway, that comes in at a whopping, I don't hear anything, but it's fine. At a whopping $27 is the Manano DGM20. Look at it, I can make my own sound effects. See, who needs a soundboard?
That's what I got.
Oh God, I'm gonna cry laughing. And Manano is a up and coming brand that I believe is now featured on, if you're a fan of the TikToks, they're featured on, I think they're on the TikTok shop now, I believe. Don't quote me, I don't actually remember. Someone tell me. Do we know? Are they actually on the TikTok shop?
I think you're right. I know. Oh. I think you're right. I
think I am too. But this mic itself, I can recommend personally because I used it when I started streaming. I actually still have it. It's in my plethora of extra parts in this room. I actually used it during a cooking stream a couple weeks ago because I wasn't taking this thing downstairs. But the Manano DGM20 it's a teeny tiny USB, pretty easy plug and play mic. It's got a gain knob on the bottom of it, and then it's got 2 buttons on the top of it. One of them is a tap to mute button, and then the other one controls it, like, I don't even know what I want to call it. It's like surround sound almost, so it'll knock out like the noise around you and just focus on you.
Noise canceling.
Yeah, that's the word. That. And fun fact, if you like it, it does come in a plethora of colors. Woo!
Ooh, ah.
White, blue, pink, black, purple. I forgot what else. There was a lot.
Purple was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It's like that Game Boy purple.
Mm-hmm. And this one does come with its own base, but do not recommend keeping it on the base. Get yourself a boom arm for it. Definitely recommend.
Yeah, and the thing about boom arms, I don't know, is that on our list today? I don't remember.
I believe it is.
I don't think so. But I think we're going to talk about it later, but boom arms are super important to the microphone. And when you buy a boom arm, you also want to get what's called a shock mount. And a shock mount and a boom arm basically ensure that when your desk moves or whatever your microphone's attached to, it's going to make sure that it doesn't transfer the vibrations, because that's all microphones are, is just processing vibrations. I've used the Manano, that was a weird way to say it, but awkward. I've used other microphones for what's called XLR from them that were also equally inexpensive, and they definitely have a lot of quality to them. I don't know how they do it for so cheap, but it's a great starter mic to get you started, get you going. Like Jackie said earlier, is eventually you will grow out of these things, but by that point, hopefully you've started putting a little bit of money aside to either grow your business, or you're getting payouts from platforms like TikTok or Twitch. But it's a great starter, definitely a great starter mic that you can build with for a while.
And fun fact, right now on the Manana website, because I went to go look it up to make sure I was looking at the right thing, they do have a Black Friday sale going on. So you get the mic, the boom arm, and a headset for $110.
Nice. Mm-hmm. That's a really good. Maybe I'll be going shopping.
And you can pick your colors of everything, of like the mic and everything. You can pick whatever color you want.
And while that seems really silly to be excited about, like if you look at my screen right now, you can't even see I have a microphone in front of me. Like it's so dark. And so having that little bit of color pop, it just can help people get really excited. It also helps when your streamer friends are talking into a muted mic because their lights turn off when they're muted. and you can say, hey, your lights aren't on for your mic. And it can also be that visual cue for yourself. Hey, that light's not on. Why is that light on again?
Yes, it's wonderful. And as Jackward said, that mute button, having that mute button is so important. Like, just having a physical mute button on a mic is fantastic, that you don't have to reach because if you work with OBS, you can easily like hit a button to like mute yourself, but having it just physically on the mic that you can just kind of tap and go is actually really helpful.
And I can't tell you how many times, and Jackie's been there for when this has happened to me, when I forgot to unmute the mic on OBS or Streamlabs, and if I didn't have to worry about, making sure those mute buttons were there, and I just tap the mic, it would be really a handy feature. I've really contemplated it many, 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 many times, because I won't even lie. It's probably like 2 weeks ago. I did the same. I went like 10 minutes without sound because I forgot to unmute my mic.
Honestly, that is one of the biggest reasons that I have not pulled the trigger on going to our next mic, which is the Elgato Wave DX, which comes in at just under our $100 cutoff at $99.99, because that does not have a mute button.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. When it comes to streaming, I will say Elgato is always usually, or at least for me, has been a really surefire thing. Several of the things that we've gone down, it's like we have to talk about Elgato's stuff, because it's just, if you want something to work the way it's supposed to, and you want it to be like a stress-free stream, Elgato is like that safe bet. It's not that any of the other companies aren't, because like I said, I don't have the Wave DX right now, but when you've got an Elgato that it's going to work. I have switched to many of my pieces, many of my things that I've cheaply bought over time. I'm like, okay, when am I getting the Elgato version? when am I doing that? And that's what's nice about the Wave DX, is that while it's built for streaming, and it's built to do exactly what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm. And So the Wave DX, not only does the price kind of step it up from our other range, but what else steps it up? And this is something we'll get into. Well, it's probably now, but it is what is called an XLR mic. It is not a USB mic. So there are two types of mics when it comes to streaming, and I will let Jackward nerd out and explain all of that to you because I know he's so excited about this episode. So I will let him explain.
I love technology, guys. I love it so much I teach it. So an XLR mic uses 3 pins to kind of transmit signal. It uses a positive, a negative, and a ground, similar to like how your outlets work in your house. And so it transmits that sound over that XLR signal. This is typically used for like concerts and professional sound level stuff. So the quality is, even though it seems like, oh, it's got very few pins, right? A USB has a lot more pins. The quality over XLR cable is really unparalleled. That's why it hasn't really changed in industry for decades. They keep using this 3-pin setup, and so the quality of the audio has slowly improved as recording devices have improved, but the cable hasn't changed. And so this is great this is a great intro mic for those high-end DJs. If you're trying to get into the DJ program and stuff here on Twitch, it can be a really great opportunity to be able to intertwine a lot of your equipment. That's kind of the beauty of it, is that if someone like me, who I already have a soundboard, I have all these other pieces of equipment, if all I need to do is put it all into the soundboard, now I can start using effects paddles and all these advanced sound machines that you see at concerts and other pieces. You can start live mixing music, doing more complex podcasts. Like we could have 5 or 6 people sitting in a room and having a conversation, and it all goes to this one board, and it gives you that higher level of quality. So that's kind of the beauty of getting an XLR mic. However, I will say Elgato is considered a baby mic. One reason that the mic I have is so expensive is because the company that made this, Sennheiser, is already well established in the audio as having really high quality audio. And so that's a big part of it, is Elgato's pretty new into that realm, and a lot of our high-end mics, they are established as high-end mics in the music industry.
What Jackward said, because I know nothing about audio. I just sit here and talk and know that it sounds good. But yeah, so with the Wave DX, obviously it is an XLR mic, and Elgato is stepping up their Jackward is showing
your XLR cable.
Yes. So Elgato.
Sorry, that was very random. But
Elgato is stepping up their game with like sound equipment. They do have some extras that you can add on to this mic that are specifically made for this mic. And it is nice because it does come in 2 colors: black, white, whatever suits your fancy. You pick. The only thing with this mic though, and we brought this up earlier, is that this mic specifically, and I know this because I know streamers that have it, it is made for you to talk directly into the front of. It is not made if you do not want a mic shoved in your face. It's probably not the mic for you. If you want to be able to put your mic off to the side like mine is, the Wave DX is probably not for you, because it is, you talk into the front of it just like you do a stage mic.
Yeah, and that's a big aspect to it. And I think when we get into our high-end microphones, some of this gets resolved, but again, you're paying premium for it. Mm-hmm. But it is absolutely imperative with the Elgato Wave DX that it is in your face. I mean, even Jackie and I's mic, they need to be pretty close to your face. Like she said, the fist in front of between you and the mic. kind of thing. Whereas some of the high end mics, you can there's some that are shotgun mic style, and you can have them not even in your scene and picking up you. So it's that low. It's the low high end. That's why we made this category of the 50 to 100, because this is where you're spending more. You're investing the money in it, but you could probably in most cases stick with that mic and be happy with it.
Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna get into the mics that might make you want to cry. Some of these prices scare me. I just pulled up our first one that we're gonna talk about, which is the Shure MV7 mic. And my good golly gosh, Batman, this mic comes in at a whopping $279 from Shure when it's not on sale, and $249 when it is on sale.
And this is what I'm talking about with like established. This one and Rode are both Rode, some people call it each. These are the brands that this music industry use. These are the ones that have been established. These are the things that you see when you watch the Super Bowl, when you watch this is the equipment they're using. So it's not surprising that $250. I've spent $450 on a stage mic before. I have one it's gonna maybe make Jackie lose it. It's a $750 mic in my classroom, and I didn't buy it because I wouldn't have spent that money. But the audio production teacher who was before me decided that was a good investment instead of buying, working cameras. But I digress. There are microphones can get really expensive, just like you can get like a little keyboard for $50, but you will play a grand piano, you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars. It's the same thing with microphones.
And I'm gonna put it to you this way. So I'm scrolling around on the Shure website while we're here so that we can make sure we're hitting all of the specs. And I'm looking at this, and the bundle that first off, that $279 is just for the mic. That is not including a stand. Just so we're all on the same page. For a boom arm and a mic with this company, we're looking at $339 or $309 on sale. So you're looking at almost, what is that, like a $50? Yeah. Even more than $50. Yeah, like a $50 boom arm. Don't spend that money. You can find one on Amazon.
To be fair, it's $50 for the boom arm and shock mount. That's two pieces. It's still really expensive, yeah, absolutely. And I want Jackie to know is I'm validating you here, because absolutely everyone who's listening, do not buy this. This is not the mic for you right now. If you're just starting out, but if you're someone who's looking to do that high-end music production, you want to be part of the DJ program. This is the equipment. If you're going to plan to do an IRL at TwitchCon, this is the kind of equipment you're buying now. This is what we're talking about, where, someone's paying you big money to go do something. This is the kind of equipment that you want. I know a big part of my struggle as a new streamer was I knew this end of equipment, and it was a big hurdle for me for a long time why I didn't get into doing this, because I knew how much goes into a microphone, how much a microphone is, how much lighting is, how much all this stuff is, and this is not the stuff to start out with. And it used to be that the stuff that was meant for streaming was really not great, but nowadays you can get really quality equipment for in that $50 to $100 range. Or if you're really just needing the bare minimum. I mean, my wife has started, she doesn't use any of my equipment for her streams, and so she started with her cell phone. She just started with her cell phone, set it up in our living room, and just went with it. And that goes back to what we were saying last week last podcast with just start. That's the biggest thing, is over time you can get this stuff. Do not go buy it today.
No.
unless you're like, one of our mutuals that we know and they've just been making it big or something. Like,
Yeah.
Even honestly, at our level of streaming, this is stuff that I wouldn't suggest people go get yet.
Yes. But one of the nice things about the Shure mic is the fact that the new updated design on it does allow for USB or XLR. So you get to choose, obviously, if you're someone who streams by day and podcasts by night, it's a great, versatile, flexible microphone that you can plug and play the USB into your PC while you're streaming and then go and do XLR to go do your podcast later on in the day. Or if, you're a musician by night and a streamer by day, I don't know, whatever you moonlight as. It's a good one for that. We all have something we do when we're not streaming. But yeah, so it's a great mic, but if you're starting out, please do not buy it. Also, you can buy a perfectly good boom arm on Amazon with the shock mount, sir, for less than $50.
No, absolutely. I understand that. That's not what my point was. It was that the shock mount, I think, is probably the thing that people commonly overlook. And so I think it's important to realize that when you're buying this level of equipment, it doesn't come with a lot of the stuff. Mm-hmm. Like you would think, oh, I'm paying more, mm-hmm. so it's going to come with more stuff. It doesn't. Mm-hmm. You're paying for the brand. You're paying, again, like we were talking about with Elgato. Elgato will work. Mm-hmm. Sure is the same thing in audio production. Mm-hmm. That's the big thing. Mm-hmm. And then some other high-end ones that we listed that maybe I think this one's a little bit more reasonable because it's just over our $100 mark, is the HyperX Quadcast. And Jackie and I both know people who use this one quite regularly, and it comes in at about 125, 130, depending on what all you want with it and which version you're getting. It's also really nice because it is one of those LED style microphones.
I'll show it off Vanna White style.
Yeah, you can show it off, and I think it does have tap to mute in most cases. But this the reason why HyperX is, again, one of those high quality brands it's making its space in the streaming world. Mm-hmm. It's trying to carve out that we're the Shure of streaming, if you will. And so they have a lot of variety, but this one, I know that the people that I've talked to, at least, they really swear by this one.
Yeah, it's a wonderful mic. And the nice thing with the HyperX Quadcast mic, it does come with the pop filter cover that you can put over it. I personally hate it because trying to tap to mute this thing and actually see if it muted itself with that stupid pop filter on it is the worst thing I've ever had to do in my life. But I digress because we have a lot to get through tonight, so I will not go on.
We do.
But it's a wonderful mic. Cannot say enough good things about it. Moving right along. Our next topic up for the evening is console streaming versus PC streaming versus mobile streaming. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying we are going to do a separate episode on just mobile streaming because Jackward and I want to thoroughly do our research before we present things to y'all. And clearly, we do not mobile stream.
What? Wait.
Who
I'm
knew?
not on a mobile stream right now?
Life's a simulation. Who knew? So we're going to kind of focus on PC streaming and console streaming for tonight, and then we will come back to you with some greater knowledge on mobile streaming because we always want to make sure we have the facts and figures and sometimes fundamental rights on everything we're talking to you about.
I love you, Jackie. And so this is the thing, is that Jackie and I both use consoles. Jackie being a huge Nintendo streamer, as well as I believe you use your Xbox for our Fortnite Fridays or our Friend Fridays. And then I use my Xbox typically for Xbox related games. I try not to do it on my PC too often unless something hasn't been updated. So we're both very familiar with those components, and I mean, minus the fact that Jackie's now on two PCs now, not just one, but two PCs. We're obviously very familiar with PC streaming.
So I think we'll dive a little bit into console streaming first, because console streaming is the easier of the two beasts to tackle. Console streaming, really, all you need is a mic, a console, and a dream. But it has to be, can't be any console. It's got to be Xbox, PlayStation, but it's got to be one of the newer models, correct?
I believe it has to be the PS5 or either Xbox One X, or Xbox X or S models.
Okay.
I know that Xbox has been doing it a little bit longer. I don't know about the PS4. I never owned one, so I never messed with it. But I know the Xbox One X for sure, because I've done it a few times in a pinch when I haven't been feeling well. I mean, that's sometimes I'll just cut down my stream so I don't have to deal with so much technology and do a console stream. And that's kind of the beauty of, at least I can speak for the PS5 and the Xbox, is really all you do is plug in. I'll even just plug in my headset into my controller, and I'm good to go. That is like the bare minimum you need, is just something that'll plug in with a 3.5 millimeter, a headphone jack style plug-in, and you're good to go. There's nothing more. You obviously want to monitor, because you don't want sound out you want your sound to come in through your headphones. You don't want them to come out through the TV or anything. But that's the beauty of it, is, as Jackie said, you only need a mic.
And there's a Twitch app, correct, on the consoles themselves, and that's how you kind of set everything up?
Yes, I think Xbox actually has it integrated, so you can actually go into their panel and do it. But I know for a fact that you can go into the Twitch app, and you can also just say, I'm a console streamer, and it'll help set you up and you follow some prompts and stuff. I think that's one thing Twitch is doing really, really well lately, is that they are trying to meet streamers where they're at. It wasn't that long ago that you had to have a PC setup in order to stream. There was no way around it. You could possibly do Mac. I've been streaming on Mac for a long time, but not necessarily to Twitch. But yeah, you can. That's pretty much it. You had to have some sort of computer, and that was the only way. And they've really done a great job. YouTube as well, I won't lie. They have integrated a lot of stuff into the consoles, because they know that's a huge space now. There's a lot of games that are console only, and there are ways to do that for a PC streamer, but it gets really complicated, as you can see on my desk.
So yeah, it's a very basic thing, and if you want to get started streaming, most of us in our homes at this point have some kind of console that is fairly newer. If you're playing Fortnite, I'm sure it probably is. So get
and
you.
Then you can also.
Go ahead.
And then you can also add in things like a camera later on through the USB ports on that console as well.
Absolutely, but get you a dream and a mic, so you don't sound like a tin can, and start streaming on your console. Just do it.
Hey, that's Nike's thing. We can't.
And then we get into the behemoth. The PC stream.
And we talked about this in quite some depth of do we go into all of it, because there is so much, guys. There is so much.
So we kind of landed, we're gonna touch on everything. Like, first thing you're gonna do with a PC stream is you have to decide what streaming software you want to stream with, either OBS or Streamlabs. We're going to do a whole separate episode talking about the two of those because there's so many things that go into both of those.
And both of us have used both and done a lot of successful streams on both and a lot of successful headaches on both.
I also think Twitch Studio is still a thing. Don't quote me.
Twitch Studio, I believe you're right. I believe it is still a thing. And I guess then we should also bring in TikTok Studio if it's still a thing when we do that episode.
Yes. But Twitch Studio is a thing. I've used Twitch Studio before too. So I used that when I started a year ago. Yeah,
I did too, very briefly, and then
I got annoyed. Okay, next. You need your mic, which we talked about. We gave you a great list of mic, and then you need a headset. I don't give a hoot what headset you use. I don't care if you go to Five Below and buy you some stringy in-ear headphones. I don't care. Something you can plug into your mic so you can hear yourself so that you know I'm not sounding like this and screaming at everyone while they're talking. You need to be able to hear yourself. Want to. I mean, you can. That's what limiters were made for, so that you could scream at people and it still wouldn't sound any louder. But yeah.
And you do have to be, just like anything, you have to be careful. Jackward Hero had found out very harshly when he bought $1 headset from TikTok Shop and blew out his eardrum. I actually couldn't wear earbuds for about 2 weeks because I had bought really cheap ones. So there are such thing as cheap headphones, folks.
I wore these while I was playing Fortnite today. Not the greatest thing I've ever done because you can't turn the sound down on Fortnite with these. Yeah. Don't do that.
So I do recommend getting something. You really want something kind of what Jackie has right now, something with a little headset piece, so that way you can keep in-game audio microphones separate from streaming. There have been many times that Jackie has muted her mic while she's streaming and we're playing together, just so that she can welcome people in and do all these amazing, just be that courteous streamer. And so that's really an advantage to that, is having your microphone separate. It does complicate things though. Mm-hmm. So it's something you have to really understand what you're doing when you're setting it up. But over the ear is definitely a better way to go. You're going to hear yourself a lot better. Mm-hmm. And typically they have stronger drivers is what it's known as. So you can hear a wider range of audio. So you can sound, if you're sounding like that tin can sound.
And I'm also going to tell you, you can find fairly cheap mics, like headsets, over-the-ear headsets with mics on Amazon. The one I'm currently wearing is from Corsair, and I'm not going to tell you to go spend the money on it because it was at least $100, if not more. And I will not tell you to spend that much money on a headset when you first are starting. But I'm here now and I'm invested, so...
And I mean, I'm wearing some Beats 2 or Beats 3 that I've had for 7 years. So I invested the money way back. Actually, I got these for free. No, we'll talk about that another time. But you can use pretty much any over the head microphone. I have some really cheap ones that came in a pack. Like it came with like a microphone and a controller and a headset and all this random stuff. And I think they're like $10 headphones, but they have like nice cushy ears. They don't like compress my head, which is really nice. And they have a built-in microphone that I can mute and unmute with just a click on the back. So something like that, you can always find it especially if you're looking at like buying something, related to it anyways. Look for those little deals. Amazon is a huge sucker for like these bundle deals, especially with the gaming materials.
And if you're a streamer like Jackward and I that are not blessed with 20/20 vision, make sure when you're looking at headsets, the ear covers themselves have to be pretty large so that they comfortably fit over your glasses without smooshing them, because it's really uncomfortable if they do.
Yeah, and make sure they're soft. They gotta have some cushion to them too. I have actually had my ears get cut by my glasses from some of the headphones I've had over the years. Or the ear will get smashed into the earpiece. So you want some really, really cushy ones. You also want some really adjustable ones. I don't know if anyone saw this. It was a trend that happened, I think, about 6 or 8 months ago. A bunch of streamers who play a lot of sweaty games. They stream every day. They use their headsets for 8 hours at a time. They started to realize they had divots in their head. From the crossbars on the headsets. And that's a real thing. So if you can find one that has like a strap that goes across, I was gonna say, Jackie, you have one. Mine does not. But I wear my hat. That's why I wear my hat, is that my hat actually serves as that piece
So
for my head, so it's not digging in there.
If you look at, like, again, the headset that I'm wearing, there is a gap between the strap that goes in there and then the actual top of the headset. So the top of the headset does not ever actually sit on my head.
And so that just reduces the pressure that can come to your head and ensure that you don't, end up with a headphone head, is what I call it. And while we all aspire to be that, full-time streamer, that's really the cases that they're seeing that in. They're not seeing this with the casual streamer like Jackie or myself. No. But if you're wearing a headphone all day, really think about that. Either way, even if you're not going to stream, guys, make sure you have some head protection.
Okay. Next things. Oh wait, you didn't say it today, and I'm kind of sad, but it's okay. I wrote on our notes that say some form of headset for monitoring purposes, but it's okay. And Jackward said I am going to read
You're
that.
the one who introduced it.
I know.
I caught it. I was like, I was just going to say porpoises.
I wasn't reading it. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay.
Because you almost said it verbatim, too. You're like, and you really need some set of over-the-ear monitor for purposes. I'm like, oh.
Oh. If you didn't know, we're into dad jokes around here, so monitoring purposes is a great thing.
Who does dad jokes? What? That doesn't.
Who? Where?
I gotta record some more before I go to bed tonight.
All right. Next things next. So we were just talking about all the lovely things of how I play Switch games and Xbox games, and Jackward plays on Xbox and all of that. And I think the number one, I want to say this is like right behind where did you get your microphone and what is your microphone, is how do you get your game on your screen? How are you playing your Switch on your screen? All stream long. I think I get asked that question at least 3 or 4 times a stream.
I mean, that's because you do a lot of stuff with your Nintendo. I don't do as much with my Nintendo, and so I think they just assume that I'm on my Xbox when I'm streaming. I don't know. I don't know, or they think I'm a PC gamer instead of using my controller. I don't know. But it is definitely a big question that's asked, and it's called a capture card. It's this wonderful thing that it takes in the data, takes in the view of the device, and then it outputs it to 2 different spots. One's to your computer, and one's to another screen. And it's really, really important if you want to be a PC streamer who does anything outside of that.
This thing.
I think I have that. I have that exact same one. It broke on me, so it's funny.
Yours is fatter.
Yeah, it's a little fatter.
This cost me $30 on Amazon, and I've been using it for a year, and it's going well. Knock on wood.
This cost me $30, and it broke. You can actually, I think you can hear it if I should get close enough to the mic.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's how they sent it to me. And so I broke down and I got the Elgato version of the capture card, and it is beautiful. I love it.
Y'all know I am a stan of Elgato. Like, Elgato, listen, if you ever want to work together, please hit me up. I'm a stan, but I will never buy your capture card. I will never spend that kind of money on a capture card. That is redonkulous. No, thank you. No, ma'am. No, sir. No, how.
Okay, to be fair, it was very much an impulse buy. at TwitchCon. I was getting another object that we'll talk about later, the Elgato Stream Deck Plus. I knew I wanted it because I wanted the knobs. I really wanted the knobs.
Tell them how much it
the
cost.
Knobs are important.
Tell them how much that stupid capture card cost.
We're not gonna talk about how much.
How much does that capture card cost, Jackward?
150, I believe. It was okay, but here's the thing: is I budgeted for it and I had the money, and
listen,
so
I'm so glad for you, but that is redonkulous. You're
right, and honestly, for the last 2 years, I have used $20 capture cards. I got a really good one. It's just a USB-C. It's just literally a USB-C tail, and it has one HDMI port, and that thing lasted me 8 months.
That's what mine is.
That was the best capture card. It looked very similar to your one that yeeted itself today, your HDMI port splitter.
Yeah.
But I decided that I was going to spend the ridiculous amount of money because this thing, and when I had started to add up all the money, I basically had spent all the same money I had spent on the Elgato stuff, on the Elgato capture card. So that's how I justified it. Girl math, all right? Shh.
Listen, it's fine. I'm just saying, I can't. Like, it is... And again, y'all, you know I love Elgato, but it's an obscene amount of money for something that you can get for $30. Like,
absolutely no. Especially again, we're talking to the people who are just starting out, right?
Even the people who aren't just starting out.
Look,
you don't need it.
I did.
Okay.
You know how many technology problems I have. You are here every Friday.
I have been streaming for 360 days. Yeah, 360 days with that teeny tiny capture card, and we're ride or dies here. It lasted longer than stupid HDMI splitter.
Okay, but let's also remember, I have tech problems every week because I have glued and stapled and put everything together without having to spend the money.
Okay, so if you're awkward and have issues, then spend the money.
You know what? It makes my life a lot easier that I don't have to worry about the capture card, and I can just worry about the 12 other things broken.
Okay. Well,
my peace of mind is worth $150.
Fine.
And you know what, Elgato? Just remember this when I put in my application for partner.
Elgato, I love you. I love you. I really do. I love you. But I can't. And I won't.
And since we're already on Elgato, let's go ahead and let's talk about face cams. First off, you do not need a cam. Nope. I think we've addressed this at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Is you do not need a camera to start streaming.
You're telling me people don't want to see my beautiful face and I could just shut this off and go away?
Yes.
Save me a lot of time.
So if you're new to streaming, I know when I started streaming, I didn't know this was a thing either. VTubers are a thing. VTubers exist and they don't use cameras. Mm-hmm. Some of them just use voice activated response systems for their models.
That does come with a warning though. There is quite a few of them that are very intensive and very heavy on your PC. So just heed that as a warning going into it. A lot of the VTuber software, because I've played around and dabbled around in that area, the VTuber softwares are very heavy on your CPU usage on your computer. Just a warning.
And there's absolutely those and more of the common ones are very heavy on there, but there's actually a lot of simpler ones too that if you ever need help with that, I know some programs that I've never like streamed with them, but I've used them for my classroom instruction and stuff like that, because believe it or not, we don't have great computers in a classroom.
Who knew?
Believe it or not. And so there are definitely some options there, but you don't need a camera. However, you can see based on the videos that is in front of you that both Jackie and I use cameras. And so there's definitely a discussion involved with cameras, like what is the low end, what is the middle, and what is the high end. Jackie and I technically are using high-end cameras. We're actually using the same camera, but we'll talk about that in a minute as well. But for our low end, we have the Razer Kaio.
I don't know.
Kio?
Sure.
Kaio?
Sure.
And this can be a really good camera to start out with. It doesn't hit the full range. Like a lot of cameras nowadays, you really want the 4K, and 4K is the absolute highest you're ever gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna just tell you that straightforward here. If you go to 8K, they're just selling you stuff that no one will notice, and it actually can cause problems in your stream. Just like even the 4Ks can cause problems with stream because the file size is so large. And so that's something to keep in mind. Is that's kind of the thing about the Razer Kaio Kio. What we'll find out what the actual pronunciation is at some point. Is because you're only dealing with HD as well as our $99 camera, you're less likely to have issues if you have internet connection piece configurations as well. So that's something really to consider is, are you going to be streaming over Wi-Fi, for instance? You might want to start with a lower end camera because that might actually be a perk for your setup. And if you're wired, but you don't have a lot of money to invest in your Wi-Fi or in your internet service, then consider going with that low end camera.
So I'm looking at the specs for the Razer camera online, and the video resolution of it is 1080p at 30 frames per second or 720 at 60 is what we're looking at on that one.
So that's what's kind of beautiful about it is that I actually tell most streamers start at 720 anyway. Frame rate is great, but honestly, because of how streaming works, people don't necessarily notice whether you're using 60 frames or 30 frames. They can tell when you're at like 120 frames if you have a high-end connection. If you have a high-end connection and they have a high-end connection, then they can tell. But if you're not someone like Jinxie who, has, thousands and thousands of followers and, is doing these high-end games, then I don't know that you bother with going with high-end cameras for the most part, because those higher frames are just meaning more data, which means slower opportunity for your community with things like Blurb. That I think is more of an investment personally.
We also picked this camera, and again, Jackward's going to get to nerd out here in a little while. But we also picked this camera partially because it does have a built-in ring light on the camera itself, which is a great feature to have because it's one less thing that you have to purchase. So
yeah, I mean, lighting is super important. And I could do a whole podcast myself. I don't even need Jackie here, just on how to light and what to think about. Like, my lighting setup is not even that great. Jackie's is actually a much better way to go, because Jackie has lighting from all angles, from the front, from the side, from the back, that allow you to see that she's a real person and not a cardboard cutout like this guy. But it's yeah, so if you're definitely trying to save that little bit of money here and there, investing in something that already has something built in is definitely a way to go. Jackie, I remember this is one conversation I really recall is that both of us talked about what was our first lighting pieces. And I know for me it was an IKEA. I found an IKEA ring light that was also a cell phone stand. And I think it was like $10, and it was just because I couldn't afford to really buy a light. I had all my pieces were too big. Nowadays I have the one light right here. Obviously I have the sign and a few other things, but and then all the lighting that you guys see that's color, that is actually from my ceiling fan. So that's kind of the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And then Jackie had a very similar.
I use when I first started streaming, I found a $5 ring light at Big Lots. I actually still use it. It's what lights my cat cam now for stream. And then when I switched cameras and tried out the Logitech Stream Cam for a little while, which you will see does not make our list, it came with their own mini key light, which I still use to this day. That's what I have on right now. And I also have a really big and fancy, which I don't really ever use. I want to use more, but I like my backlighting a lot. I have a big photo box as well that I can use to light myself. And it is like a professional photography box that they would use like when they're taking pictures. And I do like that one, but I also like having pretty colors behind me. And you can't see them, but those lights that are behind me are ways, whatever you want to call it, WYZE. They're light strip lights, and they are Google activated, so I can have my Google turn them on for me, off for me, different colors, whatever I want.
Yeah, and that's I use the Philips Hue ones and intertwine it with a whole different program. So my chat can actually control my lights as they change and stuff like that. And that's why I use for my front light, my key light is what that's called. It's a small little rectangle. It's Elgato. I got it as a gift just with my friend wanted to get rid of some stuff, so I didn't pay for it, but it's just like a 2" by 2" key light that I can adjust. The big thing with your key light is you want to be sure that you can change the color temperature, and that's really important, because if you're streaming in some room and let's say you go buy light bulbs and you don't pay attention and you accidentally get the cool light instead of the warm light, you can adjust that light to match it, and so you're not trying to constantly fight what color you are on stream. And that's called color or white balance, but that's not here or there. So that's a huge thing, and
that's what I'm playing with right now. Is actually my photo box. It came with a remote, and it actually has the adjustments on the remote for like warm and cold, the brightness, all the situations if I decide I ever want to use it again, but it's fine. It's there.
Well, and so you want to be able to control that, and so that's what's nice about my little square box light, is that I can change the color temperature. So like right now I look really warm in this shot. I could lighten it up and kind of soften it a little bit by making it more blue. But that's kind of then I kind of blend in with my colored lighting. So,
And we were talking about this too, and I know, again, for our eyeballed friends such as ourselves, one of the other things we were discussing is we both get upset if you can see the ring light in the reflection of our glasses when we're streaming. Nobody cares but you.
It's so true. Like, I'm looking up right now. I was laughing because I was looking and I'm like, I can't even see my eyes. My eyes are going through it.
Yeah.
But you can see the light, and no one cares. No one really cares.
Except for yourself.
I, though, have to hold my head at a certain angle right here. This is where I hold my head. And you'll notice when I'm like very aware of it, I'm like, nope. If I move just a little bit up, oh, hey, there's that light. And no one cares. Literally no one cares. Jackie had said, oh, I hate when I do this. And I said, I've never noticed ever. Because I watch her stream. I mean, I'm on her streams pretty much every time, and vice versa. Is I was saying then, oh yeah, I kind of get that. I mean, I hate when I'm like this. And she's like, I never noticed. I never saw it. So it's very much an internal thing, and that's very understandable because you're the one who's making every little piece. So you're very critical of yourself. But I think it's a good reminder. Don't necessarily worry about it so much.
Also, remember, 99.999% of the time, people are watching you on a teeny tiny phone screen. They cannot see every little detail of your face. So it's okay. It is more important that you are lit than if they can see the glare of the light in your glasses, because they want to see your face if it's there. And that's the important part.
And that's an important aspect. Like right now, like I said earlier, I'm a little dark today because I didn't fine tune my key light. as much as I should have, but you want to make sure that you can see everything in there. If you have something in the background that you want to see, like something on the shelf that you think is important, make sure it's on, make sure it's, it's lit well, all those pieces. It doesn't matter if it's backlight or front light, but if it's something that's important to you, you need to make sure it's lit up.
Something on a shelf that you can see, you say? You mean like the goose who stole Christmas?
Exactly. It's nice and bright, and I can see it, and it's well framed too. Little goosey goose.
So onward in our recommendations for a face cam. The next two are by the same company. Are mid-ranged between $50 and $100, and are above $100. The next two both come from the same company. And shocker to no one, because y'all have heard this brand a million times tonight, they're from Elgato.
Wait, what?
Who knew? It's like we like Elgato or something.
Oh, it's almost. And you know what? Of these two, one of them is both our camera. Both of us use as a camera.
So our mid-range camera that we decided between the $50 and $100 is the Facecam Neo, which the Neo, I do believe, is a newer line for Elgato, and they came out to make it just an easy plug-and-play setup for people to go, stream, do their thing, and it gives them high-quality video without really having to worry too much about stuff.
Yeah, the Neo is actually part. I think it's part of their Office brand stuff. It's not actually part of their. Like it can be used for streaming, but it's not necessarily their clientele. It's built for the average consumer to just plug into their laptop and go. And so that's the biggest thing. It has a privacy protection screen on it. It has a light indicator, which is a really nice thing that Elgato has, because now you know when the camera's on and when it's not. But it still gives you a nice quality to it too. There's been a lot of corporate cameras, is what I call them, that they are great when you're on something like FaceTime or Zoom, but the second you try and do something big, you start seeing a lot of the frames, you start seeing a lot of the pieces to it. And that's kind of the nice part, is Elgato recognizes what the importance is. And so I think that was their goal, was to kind of make a cheaper, still high quality camera. Because this comes in just under that $100 mark at $99. And it's still going to give you that Elgato quality.
And coming in as our first above $100 that Jackward and I didn't actually pay over $100 for, the Elgato Facecam MK.2.
So this is the camera we both use. And as Jackie said, there is always ways, and this goes with anything. This isn't just these cameras. We both bought our cameras refurbished. And just so you know, I learned this as a teacher in Arizona, is refurbished does not mean broken. It's important to really understand that they're not, what they are is they are returned. And so a lot of the cases is people buy these things, they don't necessarily want them, or they were gotten as Christmas gifts and stuff like that, and they return them to the Amazon or to the company as a whole. To deal with the surplus, they sell it at a discounted rate, because now they have whatever they ordered plus all the returns. And so that is why they are labeled as refurbished, because they can't guarantee that the quality of it, right? Because it's been opened or it's been whatever. And so that's why they have to label them as refurbished. But in a lot of cases, these are perfectly great cameras, great piece of equipment. I've gotten mics refurbished. I have gotten pretty much everything in stream. I've had some version of it at a refurbished rate. But you saved, let's see, $50. It was about $50 you saved by buying the refurbished model of it.
I'm looking at the website right now. So We put this in the $100 and over range because typically on the Elgato website, the face cam does go for $149.99, so $150. I quickly pulled up on Amazon. They have what's considered a renewed Elgato face cam for $87.52.
So yeah, just a little over $50 after taxes and all, just over $50 is what you're gonna save.
Yep.
And that, I think that's a huge thing too, is if you're really into it, there's a lot of things you can do. Some of those things, it depends on your location. Like for me here, I can go and they have these sales of returns from different suppliers. They like sell off their stock and then you can buy them for $8, but it's kind of like you get what you get sort of thing. And that's how I got my microphone for $8. So you have those overstock sales is what I call them, you know, returns, they return them. But this is definitely a better way to go. You're obviously paying more than $8, but it's you're guaranteed that it'll work. You have warranties in place, even though they're not the same as the manufacturer warranties. You still have warranties and guarantees that it'll work. And if it doesn't, you can easily get it returned and they'll just refurbish it again. And so that is kind of a thing, is like if you can shop the sale, if you will.
And our last but certainly not least on our whopping higher end of the world is the eMeet StreamCam. And this is a brand I had never heard of until fairly recently. I don't really know much about them.
June, July,
yeah,
I think is when I heard of.
Yeah. So we have a stream friend. His name's Techno, and I think Techno was the first one I had heard of that used the brand eMeet with their StreamCam. So theirs is the eMeet StreamCam 1 Gen 2. And this comes in at a whopping $249 when it is not on sale.
Oh. That's different than our notes, so it must have been on sale.
It's on sale right now on the website for $189.
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's what's in our notes is $189.
It's on sale, and it says join Prime on Amazon for $199 too. So we found it online.
Yeah. And if you've ever been in a techno stream, you know that it's really a nice camera. It gives you a lot of things. I know he uses it for a few different features, and he has a whole, like, we could have a whole show just on his setup because it's pretty elaborate. Because he uses a 2 PC stream setup and all this. But it's definitely, you can, when he switches between his cameras, you can tell the difference between that and the eMeet. It gives a really nice crisp look. It's got a lot of pixels for detail, and that's an important aspect to it. And
I can't boast the quality of it because I've never actually tried it, but the eMeet StreamCam 1 does actually come with a built-in microphone. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't attest to it either because I know that Techno uses a different mic.
Yeah.
So I've never heard of it. I might ask him and we can talk about another.
Fun fact that I don't think we knew. It is actually a wireless camera.
That I did not know.
So I'm looking at their website, and the StreamCam 1 is a wireless camera, and it runs on, you can run it off of Wi-Fi. It's got an 8-hour battery life, and you can literally take it out into the world with you and stream wherever.
No, that's pretty cool. So IRL streamers, that could be something. That's kind of crazy. But there is an important aspect with wireless anything. I think that should be also said, is that when you go wireless, you introduce other problems. Just like on Friday when I tried to stream and the Wi-Fi got interfered with the electrical tornado issues that were happening here. And it literally was blocking my service. Like, wireless it comes with its own headaches, so be mindful. There is something to wired.
We were talking about wireless, or we were talking about headsets earlier, and wireless headsets, just keep in mind, most of the time they are going to give you some kind of delay. Like I've gotten to a point with my streams that I am very comfortable at where my mic settings are at, and I know that I'm not screaming at y'all and that y'all can perfectly hear me. I do not monitor my own voice anymore because there is a delay in these headphones, and it bothers me to no end that something comes out of my mouth and 5 seconds later I'm hearing it in my ears. Can't do it.
That was literally what she said right before we started, is I'm turning off my monitor now. It sounds great. And so she's not even monitoring as we speak right now. So
Nope.
But she sounds great. So that's the beauty of it. Probably not the episode to do it when we're moving around mics and changing stuff up, but luckily it hasn't interfered.
No. We thankfully know pretty much where everything should sit at. And you'll get there too, people. Don't worry. So on our vein of cameras, again, proper lighting, folks. Proper lighting. All the time. Don't take Jackward's advice. Do as he says, not as he does.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to talk about that. All right.
Second thing that comes with
That's the problem.
Being a face cam streamer is your background, is the thing that sits behind your head. All of this stuff behind you. When you're doing this, you don't need to get fancy. I don't care if it's a gosh dang white wall sitting behind you. Please, for the love of all things that are holy, if you are streaming in your bedroom, I do not give a dang hoot that you're streaming in your bedroom. Good for you that you're starting out and living your life. But please, make sure your bed is made if you're going to stream in your bedroom. Make sure your dang bed's made. Take your dirty laundry off your bed. Pick the trash up that could potentially be seen by your stream cam. Like you can see in mine off to the side, like I have a notebook, and stuff like that, but that's like stuff for stream, so that's kind of different. But I don't care if it's a white wall behind you. It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It just has to be clean.
Yeah, to one of our mutuals, Atomic Bot, is literally just a sign like mine behind them, and that's it. That's
and a brick wall.
That's all their stream was for so long. Now it's gotten a little more elaborate over time, but for so long it was just a sign on a brick wall, and that's absolutely 100% acceptable. It's because you have to remember is that it's not important. The camera is not important. It's an added feature. And so that's kind of the beauty of it, is that because it's an added feature, you can start out small. I started with nothing behind me. And slowly I just got one, I think it was for my anniversary last year. My wife bought me a bookcase to put stuff on. And then from there, you couldn't really see the bookcase. So then I tried to fine tune it a little bit. And, at some point, something's going to jump out of that closet and attack me. That's over to my left. But for the most part, there's nothing really to it. There's nothing more to it. It's just having a background, having something. And the only thing I make sure is everything else is extra. The only thing I make sure it's on there every single time is that Jackward hero sign. My sister got that for me. I love it.
And I'm going to be very transparent with you. It can be the plainest setup ever, and they're not going to care what is behind you, but they are going to care if they find something nasty in your background, they're going to point it out. It is just, it's true. As much as we giggle at it.
And you know what? I'm not going to shame you for not making your bed. I have no qualms about that. I'm not going to shame you. Don't make your bed. That's fine. But also think about what's behind you. It's the same thing that goes with everything else, is like, if you had a fun night with a friend, and there's evidence of that behind you, your chat's going to tell you the entire way through. It becomes the conversation.
I don't care if you just throw a blanket over your bed and make it look like it's done. Great. But just don't. But And again, it doesn't have to be as elaborate as what's behind me. These were actually already in my house. These were decor in my house, and I stole them when we moved and said, I'm going to use them for streaming. And so here they are. And this is a TV that we've had forever. And I was like, all right, cool. Sub poster it is. And that's where this all came from. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Use what you got.
And most of the stuff behind me is stuff that like the bookcase was bought, and then all the stuff behind it is, exception of maybe that light that reacts to my voice. It's all stuff that I've gotten from gifts or just wonderful people who want me to do wonderful things. And so that's on the side of it, is you're gonna get stuff. It's inevitable. You're gonna get little knickknacks and stuff that show your personality, and you're gonna put it there. You're going to have supportive people in your life, whether it's another streamer like the wonderful Jackie K Plays, or someone altogether like a family member or something. They're going to get you these little things. They're like, oh, this is cute. And so that's what can be that thing. It can be that you can put a shelf up and then you get to fill the shelf.
And then you fill the shelf with a goose.
Those can go into other things as well, like incentives for your subs or other aspects like that.
Yep. That's how we got a goose.
Yeah, that was a fun channel. I remember I used to just redeem.
It's still there.
I know. I used to just change it like every now and then because I got bored with the background. I think he's adorable as a Grinch. So
he is. Really is. All right. I literally put in the notes, get your nasty, dirty laundry out the picture. Jackward, we've almost made it.
Don't put your laundry there. That's a whole different thing. But you don't have to make your bed. That's just all I'm saying. I'm very much an adamant against every day I had to make my bed. Growing up with a former military father, every day the bed was made.
Make your bed.
Adult life is just saying, nope, it ain't worth it.
I don't care if you don't make your bed until you go on stream, but make your bed for stream.
Touche.
The rest of the day, it's fine.
We had we also came up with some extras, some things that we all agree are like, these are not things you have to have, but they are really nice. Really enjoy having 2, 3, 4 monitors, as Jackward is currently contemplating is getting a 4th monitor. One would just be for the consoles.
That's what I have on my. So I will speak to this. Your girl has 3 monitors, and so I multi-stream, and so typically on a basis of my streams, one monitor is for my OBS studio, one monitor is for my TikTok studio, and then the other monitor is for my game. Whether it's my PC game or my USB game, because I just swap out the HDMI ports in the back.
And I think you have to remember is when you're a PC streamer, you're also going to be doing other things at the PC. It's not just streaming. Like, we think streaming, but honestly, you're content creating, you're editing, your stuff like that. And having those multiple monitors can be really handy because, like, when my girl comes up on Tuesday streaming, I'm listening to her, Jackie K Plays, while I'm also editing some Jackward jokes. And it's really nice to not have to wear headphones when you're doing that, or if you're listening, if you have the headphones, they're specifically for the editing or for the other components. So it can be really nice to have that second or third monitor. 4, I get, people thinking that's excessive, but honestly, I need something where I can monitor all those things that Jackie just outlined and still be able to play Fortnite with Jackie on a Friday. So,
or if you're like me, usually you are editing on one screen, there's a stream on another, and then there's a game going on another.
That's fair, because you can play a lot of those games that time is a factor.
One of the other things we talked about and that I love very dearly, and I will unplug so I can show y'all, is actually I might not have to, is the Elgato Stream Deck. The fact that we both have
Sponsor
them.
us. Oh, I don't have one.
I have
I
the.
have two.
Well, technically, your two are the size of my one, so.
That's fair. That's fair. But this one, I mean, this has touchscreen. I can swipe. I don't have
So
to.
the one that I am showing off is the Stream Deck XL. So it has this whole screen, and then I actually have a button so I can go to this screen, and then I can do another button and have another screen, and I could have a lot of things.
Noises. I don't know what that sound was.
I don't know.
It sounded like a camera taking a picture.
I don't know. That wasn't. I don't think it was that.
And I have this. I have just the regular Stream Deck, which it's a 15 key thing. Same kind of ideas as you can have as many pages as you want, but you can only have 15 buttons in one spot. So it's very condensed, very peaked down. And then the Stream Deck Plus, which has the knobs on it that you guys saw. I got little blue knobs for free for getting it at TwitchCon. And that was really my planned buy at TwitchCon. And then I got talking to the capture card, and I don't regret it.
Now, listen, I have a very serious question for you. It may have the knobs, but does it have the juice?
It does. It's con.
It's Elgato.
It's crazy to think that was a year ago.
That was like 3 months ago. It was September.
No.
It's November. Oh, the corn meme?
The corn meme.
Oh, I thought you were talking about TwitchCon. I was like, TwitchCon's like 2 months ago.
No, TwitchCon was not long ago, but
The corn meme,
the corn meme was over a year ago.
But all of our silliness to say, Stream Decks are one of those things that are an extra that you don't need, but I would highly put it at like the top of your I don't need it, but I need it list. Because you can add buttons for faster editing. You can add a clip button on it so that when you're streaming, easily just hit the button if you make a funny moment to make clips out of to save yourself some time. Marker buttons. With our cameras, you can zoom in really far.
I'm not using the virtual camera. It doesn't let me do it right now.
Back out. But I have a button for that. I have buttons for extra sounds on my stream. Generally just all of that stuff. So it's a very helpful tool, and about 99% of streamers I know probably have one.
In addition to that, if you do other things like I'm a designer, I know some people use this for productivity, other productivity bouts as well, is that it's not just about streaming. It's what's called a MIDI device. And so I can when I'm using Photoshop, I can pull up certain tools very easily. I can actually launch Photoshop straight from by just pressing a button on my Stream Deck. So there's definitely a lot of pieces to it where you can set up to do certain things in different apps. And so that's kind of the beauty of it, is that it's really not just investing in your stream, it's investing in your whole process. And that's why I think it's also important to remember is that when you're a PC streamer or when a console streamer, it doesn't matter, is you really have to set up a computer to help you with some of those other things as well. It could be a laptop, it could be a desktop, it could be anything. But buy it when you can and buy what you can, whether it's a high-end computer, an impulse buy like Jackward did, or it's a low-end computer that can do just the bare minimum at first to help making your content. Heck, I know some people who do it just on their cell phones too, but that is a huge part to a whole different discussion that we'll have some other time. And then our final extra is extra speakers. Like we talked about headphones and how they're important, but speakers are also just as important. You don't, like we were talking earlier, you don't want to necessarily be wearing your headphones all the time. Sometimes you just want to hear the ambient noises of the world. It's absolutely important when you're streaming, but if you want to upgrade your piece a little bit, as my co-host struggles to get their soundbar plugged back in, Investing in some speakers. They don't have to be great speakers, but it's definitely a perk to have a sound bar or speaker there.
My mic was off. Y'all couldn't hear me. Um, but
I could hear you.
I know it's two separate mics.
Oh, right.
So whether it's any of that type of stuff, it's nice to have that second audio source because I know like I have Jackward on his own separate audio source right now versus like your stream music because then be on that extra audio source and you don't have to worry about trying to mess with everything so everyone can hear everything and whatever. No, there was one other thing you wanted to talk about too. Don't worry. Don't forget. Yeah, your incentives, your stickers that are sitting behind you.
Oh, right. I forgot. You also have to think about I went right past. I saw Stream Deck and I saw monitors. And I missed the middle part. You have to think about why people are watching you. Now, hopefully, they're watching you for you, right? You're this wonderful, amazing individual like Jackie and I, and you have this glowing personality. But the reality is you're only going to get a few people that way, and so celebrating your viewers, celebrating big events like subs and bits and all this stuff. Now you can do that. Can be a sticker, that can be I have little duckies that go out when I get a sub, that go fill up my piece because they didn't have turtles. I have different foods that I've gotten over time. I know people who've done the Bean Boozled challenge, and I don't know why they want to make themselves be sick. There's lots and lots of stuff. I stole from Jackie one thing is that I put a little sticker for every new follow, which I owe I think like 12 or 13 stickers today from all the new follows. But that can be just something little, but you have to think about it. You have to think, and you have to budget for that. And so that doesn't have to be something at first. That could be something you add in later. I added it a year after I started streaming. I started adding little incentives. You got to do what's good for you. And I think that's, you'll hear Jackie and I say that a lot. I think both of us are very frugal people. We love to nerd out on our nerd out stuff, and we like to spend money where we probably shouldn't. But it's overall we're pretty frugal people. We don't spend a lot of extra money, at least to us. So that is a big thing of it is buy what you can, start where you can, and if it's a experiment for you, buy the bare minimum and we'll see what happens. And that's how I actually started. As I said, between January 31st and my birthday, if I cannot reach affiliate, then I'm not going to continue this experiment. And then I got affiliate. It was like 4 days after, but I had reached all the parameters, so I just decided I was going to continue going.
Another free, and you can pay for this premium if you want to. Another great incentive you can do, and I know some streamers use it. There's a couple that I've seen. You can use Canva and make a poster for subs, for followers, for whatever you want. I'm actually doing that now. I do it with my subs. They get their name on a poster every month, and that's what ends up on the TV behind my head. And I'm going to actually turn them into calendars once we have a full 12 months of posters.
Ooh, I didn't know that part. That's smart. You're a smarty. I'm lucky I get to work with this woman.
I got a big old noodle sometimes. The noodles occasionally.
And it's kind of funny is that really with that, as speaking as someone who watches Jackie's streams quite regularly, very often, it's such a very small thing, but I can tell you everyone buys into it. And Jackie goes in there and is like, oh, we're going to find it. And she doesn't do anything, guys. She goes and Googles turkey and then finds a cute turkey and then brings it into her screen. And that reminds me, I owe you a sub.
Yeah, you gotta get your turkey.
I gotta get my turkey. It is resub day there. I've resubbed.
Okay. But like it's so cute because then like they all get so excited. Everyone's like, oh, they're like, oh yeah, oh which one you want? Which one do I want? And like they all get really excited. Like I found a dabbing turkey for someone the other day, and they were like, oh, this is perfect. And it's just a little thing that's so easy.
Yeah, and in the sticker thing, I got 300. I think it was for like $10. Like they're not expensive, and they're very generic, and it's not something that you spend a lot of time on, because there's nothing to it. We talked about this last week. There's nothing to a follow. Follows are easy, so make it easy on yourself, but celebrate. That's I think a big thing. Hey, look, you just got the Believes. Oh, you can't see it there. Bad lighting. You just got the Believe sticker and you put it on there and you celebrate them and then you move on. And that's where I get a little bit more in this, and I know Jackie does with her dab and turkey. But I say, okay, what color duck do you want in here? And right, because I'm gonna spend a little more time with them. They paid some money towards me, or use Jeff Bezos's money to pay some money towards me. So like we're gonna go here. Oh, you want the blue ducky? You got it. This is that. Another big one is signing thing, like putting people's names on things. Our mutual Padbay was putting names on kazoos. I forget why. I just remember that she did for subs, and I think it was for September. And so that was a big thing. And building in those incentives. $25 gift cards are expensive. Little rubby ducky, little plastic duckies are not.
And that's what I did. I actually did that for the subathon for my birthday. I wrote everyone's names because my birthday was on Friday the 13th. I got little plastic skulls that cost me, I think, like $5. And everyone who got a sub for the subathon has their name on a skull that are now still sitting around here.
And then guess what? If you're someone who's looking for decor, boom, you now have some. Well, all those things are great decor pieces, and you could put everyone's initials on the little, like my little ducks.
That's all follow stickers up there in a frame.
And you have, I think, 3 of those, don't you?
On the wall next to me, I have 5.
5. Okay, I remember 3 at one point.
I ran out of space, so then I got a reusable sticker book to stick them all in.
That's smart.
I try. But overall, needless to say, our tip for the day for everyone is the fancy and the expensive equipment is not needed to start streaming. Buy what you can afford, upgrade over time, and that is all that matters. Remember to have fun.
And eventually you too can have a bin
full of equipment
of random stuff.
I have 2 fabric bins full of it, and then a little like Michael's cart full of random parts. And you know what? Those parts came in handy today.
And honestly, I probably have like 4 or 5 more carts and bins and stuff elsewhere. That's just the one I keep next to my computer.
But yeah. So we hope y'all enjoyed this episode of the Streamer Talk with Jackward podcast. We will be aiming and shooting for episodes to go live every other Monday. I said aiming and shooting. Part of the Jackward has a consistent schedule that'll be fine. The other half does not.
And I'm the other half.
So that'll be our aim
for 6 more months. 6 more months, and then hopefully it gets a little more consistent.
So you can find us anywhere that you find your podcasts. Please go subscribe to us over on YouTube. It is the same name now. Jackward did fix that. I'm so proud.
I did. I made sure that we were consistent with our branding.
Proud of us.
It's almost like I learned branding in school.
And yeah, so this episode, for anyone that is listening live, this episode will go live next Monday, which is the what date?
It's 18th.
18th?
18th.
Okay.
18th.
November 18th. And that's all, folks.
Ba-da-ba-ba-dum-bum. No, that can't be our exit. No, that. No, I think that's copyright.
And you're Jackward, and I'm just over here jacking around. Have a great night, folks.
We can refine it next week.